Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are from Group 7, and before we begin, we would like to express our gratitude to Misipa for giving us the opportunity to present today. And thank you for your guidance and support throughout this project. And welcome to our session on bureaucratic reform in Indonesia. And first of all, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Adina Nurhafiza.
My name is Alivia Ratna Sakinah.
My name is Diva Delianti.
And today we will briefly explore how reforms aim to create a cleaner, more efficient, and more transparent government by improving public services, simplifying organizational structures, and strengthening accountability. Although significant progress has been made, especially through digital innovation, various challenges such as regulatory overlap and cultural resistance still remain. With that overview, let us move directly into today's material and deepen our understanding of Indonesia's bureaucratic transformation. So let's move on to the first point, which is background, and will be read by Adina. Bureaucratic reform is necessary to improve the quality of government governance, and before the reform was implemented, Indonesian bureaucracy was often seen as slow, overlapping, lacking transparency, and vulnerable to corruption, collusion, and nepotism, or what we call KKN. These issues hindered national development and reduced public trust in the government. Therefore, bureaucratic reform is carried out to build a clean, professional, and effective bureaucracy that is more oriented toward public service. Through this reform, the government aims to achieve better governance, provide faster, easier, and more transparent public services, and improve the performance of government institutions so they become more effective and accountable. This brings me to my next point, which is the definition. And first definition, there is bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is a system of governance administration that has a formal structure, a clear division of tasks, standard rules and procedures, and a hierarchy of authority. The system is designed to implement state policies and deliver public services effectively. And the second, there is bureaucratic reform. Bureaucratic reform refers to a systematic and planned process of change in government institutions. It includes reforms in structure, work processes, regulation, and organizational culture, with the goal of improving performance efficiency, transparency, integrity, and the quality of public services. And the third, there is public services. According to Law Number 25 of 2009, public services are the provision of goods, services, and administrative services by the government or other authorized parties to meet the needs of citizens in accordance with existing laws and regulations. Lastly, there is efficiency and accountability. For the efficiency means the optimal use of resources such as time, cost, and personnel to achieve maximum results in government administration and the public delivery. Meanwhile, the accountability refers to the obligation of the government and its officials to act responsibly, transparently, and under supervision so that every decision and service can be accounted for the public. And now Olivia will discuss about some types in bureaucratic reform.
Now, let's move on to the types. First, bureaucratic reform program. These are structured initiatives at the national or sectoral level, such as e-government and corruption eradication, designed to systematically transform the bureaucracy. Next, we have the areas of reform, which consists of four main aspects. First, organizational structure, focusing on simplifying institutions to reduce overlap. Second, human resource management, emphasizing merit-based recruitment and performance-based promotion. Third, public service, which aim to simplify and digitize services to improve speed and access. And fourth, governance, focusing on improving accountability, transparency, and anti-corruption system. Moving on to progress indicators and obstacles. Progress can be seen through faster services, increased public satisfaction, and decreased corruption index and improved audit result. However, there are still several obstacles, including resistance to change, political interference, budget constraints, and a deeply rooted patrimonial culture.
And for the next point will be delivered by Diva.
Okay. This slide highlights the main decision, data, and implication of bureaucracy reform in Indonesia. The reform has been implemented through a clear roadmap, performance accountability systems such as SAKIP, and large-scale digitalization including OSS, SPBE, and the One Data policy. As a result, bureaucracy has become simpler. Digital public service have expanded. Performance scores in many agencies have improved and public satisfaction saw an upward trend. However, these improvements are still not optimal. Governance is more transparent and measurable, and public service are faster and more accessible, but service quality remains uneven. Public trust also remains low as corruption is still a major issue, reflected if Indonesia Corruption Perception Index, which remains around 40 out of 100. This shows that while reform has progressed administratively, structural and cultural problems within the bureaucracy persist. The next slide will be presented by my friend.
And let's move on to the next point, which is conclusion, and will be read by Olivia Ratnasakina.
In conclusion, bureaucratic reform in Indonesia has shown notable progress in policy frameworks and digital service innovation, particularly at the national level. However, implementation remains uneven, hindered by cultural resistance, regulatory complexity, and persistent corruption. To strengthen reform, the recommended steps include strengthening oversight and sanctions for poor SAKIP performance and corruption, massive and targeted capacity building for ASN in digital and adaptive skills, accelerating regulatory harmonization to reduce overlap, and intensifying cultural transformation through consistent leadership, example, and reward and punishment system.
And to continue, I'd like to hand it over to Diva, who will talk about closing.
Okay. In a closing, bureaucracy reform in Indonesia has brought noticeable improvements in how the government operates. Initiatives such as service digitalization, stronger performance accountability system, and a simplified organizational structure indicate progress toward clear and more measurable governance. People are beginning to experience public service that are faster, more accessible, and more transparent than before. However, the reform process still faces significant challenges. Deeply rooted work culture, overlapping regulation, gap in the digital capacity, and the persistence of corruption in certain sectors show that meaningful reform requires long-term commitment and consistency. Real reform is not only about upgrading system, but also about transferring mindset and strengthening integrity within the bureaucracy. With sustained and serious implementation, Indonesia bureaucracy has the potential to become more professional, responsive, and trustworthy. Ultimately, the main goal of bureaucracy reform remains the same: to deliver public service that are higher in quality, more human, and truly beneficial for all citizens.
That concludes our presentation on bureaucratic reform in Indonesia. We hope this discussion has provided a clearer understanding of its importance in improving public governance. And we have one quote: "Wait, progress marks the journey. Obstacles stays the commitment. And reform defines the future of Indonesia's bureaucracy." And final, thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Dah.